So I saw Furiosa today. Have you seen it?
How was it? I have not, but I've only heard good things about it.
I'm gonna be real with you. It's okay. I think I'm realizing the thing about Mad Max movies is like, here's what I want from Mad Max movies. I just want like stupid car chases with fire coming out of guitars. I don't need backstory. I don't need anyone's backstory. That's, just give me like pew pew, explode. That's what Mad Max is to me. So,
right.
I could be wrong. And if I am, well, just keep it to yourself. Anyway, hi guys, welcome back to Simply Amazing, the Nightcrawler podcast. Oh, Daisy May is choking over there. The Nightcrawler podcast.
Is she good?
She'll be fine. She'll be fine. Trust me. Don't worry. If you hear sirens in the background, it's just me being arrested for dog negligence.
Oh my God.
Oh no, she's doing fine. Actually, I bought her a Little Mermaid bikini set at PetSmart because I am that person. And it barely fits on her and I can't get her to show it off in any kind of meaningful way. So it's a total waste, but whatever. It was adorable. Anyway, yeah, I'm the OG Nocturne. And of course we've got Lady in Red is podcasting with me. That's you, girl.
Oh, I am in red. I don't wear red a lot. So if I'm wearing red, I forget.
It's fine. It's good. It works for you. It definitely it's giving Scarlet Witch, and we're going to be talking about her a little bit in this episode today.
Isn't that crazy, girl? I can't wait to talk about that because it's like I was like, Lisa's going to lose her goddamn mind.
I'm like, Marvel, I get how much more can I take? Just how much more can I take with this? So yeah, we're talking about the Pride issue, which for everybody, happy, I guess, day before Pride, because this drops on Wednesday, and I think 2 days before Pride. I don't know.
Yes,
whatever.
Pride
June
is all the time, but we do what we want here because we can. And yeah, it's X-Men: The Wedding Special #1, which I don't know why they called it that, to be fair, but whatever.
Because it's a marketing thing. It's a #1, even though there'll never be a #2. It's like they still haven't gotten over that like shitty 1990s marketing that almost bankrupted them. And it's just like there'll never be a #2. So like why? Like unless are Destiny and Irene going to renew their vows every year? Because I'll tell you right now, that is the kiss of death in the Real Housewives franchise. If you renew your vows, you are getting divorced in the next 2 years. So I mean, we don't need that.
You did just say Destiny and Irene. So now Destiny and Irene are two separate people, but she's also marrying herself. Like, I don't know. This got very dramatic very quickly, and we're not even talking about the issue.
That's true. That is very true. I will say you're going to hate me, Lauren, because I didn't read all of it because I just couldn't with some of it. It's like, I just don't care that much about Betsy and Rachel.
Some of it I feel like is going to connect to other things or maybe connects to other past things I don't know about. But yeah, there's some of it I didn't care about. I really only cared about like the actual like main story.
Same. And it was like, and someone was like, are you sure you don't want to invite Saturnine? It's like, on what planet do Mystique, Destiny, and Saturnine have a fucking relationship? I mean, like,
I did it. Even after reading the part where they supposedly explained that, like, maybe it's because I didn't care enough, so I didn't read it as intently. But I was like, I still don't understand why this was made to be a big whoop. I really don't get it, especially because, like, Rachel and Captain Brett and Elizabeth Braddock, they were eventually just like, oh, well, if you just want to invite, you could have just said so. And I was like, what the fuck was the big deal then? I'm so confused. Like, I'm good.
I'm sorry. What do you mean? Like, how do Rachel and Betsy get to decide who comes to fucking the wedding? I mean, here's the thing. Both of my siblings have gotten married, so I have seen the whole situation from that point of view. And yeah, you don't just get to bring an extra person. You just don't get to say like, hey, I'm showing up with the bitch that you specifically didn't invite. Number one. Number two, again, I don't understand why Saturnine would care. She'd just be like, okay, this is okay, great. I'm just going to, wash my hair. I'm going to settle in. We're going to watch Gilmore Girls and we're going to make some popcorn. It's going to be a great night.
Well, because I think, and I am missing gaps in this, but to my knowledge, it's referencing stuff from the Excalibur run, like the Krakoan one, because
Mm-hmm.
I think there was some tension between Saturnine and Elizabeth Braddock, and now the Rachel's involved. There's tension there. I don't know, but I was just like, why did Destiny and Mystique care about that? If anything, they say bring the bitch, invite her, bring the drama.
That's what I'm saying. No, like if Destiny and Mystique would definitely be agents of chaos and would be like, oh my god, so Saturnine is getting in between your relationship with the relationship of Rachel and Betsy. Of course, invite her. Oh my god, so we're gonna sit them at the same table between them. You know, and like Saturnine's always got problems with Braddocks. Like, girl, you got to move on from the Braddocks. They're not good for you.
Well, and they prove it by the end of the issue with the main story. Your exact point, which is it's all just chaos. Like none of the whole. It was just it's all a fucking ruse to. Wow, look at what they're doing. This is actually really nice. You know.
Yeah. So we should probably say spoiler alert because there's going to be spoilers here.
So sorry if you cared about that. We did not say spoilers. You are welcome to take away a simply amazing point from both of us. I don't know how we got any points, but we now have points apparently. So there you go. Take a point.
I don't think I should. I'm the one who said spoiler alert. I don't think I should lose a point, but whatever. I guess I'll lose a point.
You started spoiling too before you said it. We both lose a point.
Okay, but like, okay, very good. Okay, whatever, fine.
You know what? You lose half a point. I lose the full point. There we go.
Fair. That's fine. So, yeah, all of the who's invited, who's not invited, again, brings that Real Housewives-esque drama of like, are you going? Oh, no, you're not going. I'm not going to go. If you're not going, I'm not going. Who's going to go? You're going to go and see her. I'm not. If you're going to talk to her, I'm not going to go. Like, but again, it's like, it's kind of the exact drama I would expect from a lesbian wedding. So, like, I'm fine. Totally here for that. I did not read the Wolverine story because I just didn't care again. Because again, I'm having such a hard time with this issue because it just feels like it goes against like, decades of canon. Like, and it's making us it's really reaching to make this make sense that Wolverine would give a shit about what he gives them for their wedding. You know what I mean? That Steve Rogers would come to, like, it's just, there's parts of it, like, I get it, but like, here's the thing, I get it from like the pride side of it, and it's like showing this this lesbian couple getting married and getting like the full support of the Marvel universe. Listen, I'm right there with you. This is just not the couple. Like, it's just like, it's not the right couple for the entire Marvel universe to come together and say, you know what, you individually have tried to kill me, have tried to kill all of us more than 100 times at least over the past century. But you know what? We're really excited to come and, overpay for a gift, buy you this Swarovski frame so that we can sit down and have some cold mashed potatoes and overbaked chicken and look at each other and talk about the nice times we had when you had guns to my head. I mean, no, I agree. And that's why, like, the main story, at least of this issue, nicely surprised me. Because, you've got, like, well, I want to talk about the stuff leading up to it because there's a couple things I really liked. But, in terms of, I really enjoyed it because even though I had those same thoughts going into it, I was like, why are all these people here? Like, by the end of it, you see that it's a fucking ruse, and Destiny Mystique clearly invited everybody just to fuck with them, just to, and the funniest part to me is that, like, they had everyone else fooled. Like, they had Captain America legit somehow thinking, you know what? They're terrorists, but it's okay. Like, why, Steve? Like, I know you're like the guy that sees the good in other people, but to be fair, he was raised in the Great Depression. You cannot tell me he will ever turn down a free meal.
I mean, fair. That's a valid point.
He was raised in Brooklyn during the Great Depression. You're going to tell him that there's a free meal and an open bar? Oh, he's there in a second.
Fair. But either way, I thought it was funny that they kind of fooled everybody and that they got everybody else to kind of believe in the rules. I mean, even Kurt seemed like he started really buying into it. Like, wow, this is nice, like renewing your vows ceremony. And we had some nice family time earlier. So that means that this is going to continue. Like, they fooled everybody in that room to think that nothing could or would go wrong. And nothing would be, would go wrong on their end. It was really fun. I did like that.
Yeah, Kurt was definitely not part of it. Like, he didn't know. Like, he really.
Oh no, he wasn't. That's what's so funny. He was just like, "Oh come on! Like, I actually thought that this was nice, and now y'all still fucked up." And then Rogue has that line, which I appreciated from my millennial point of view, I guess, that literally said like, "Oh great, like, you know, moms are, you know, being gay and doing crime. Of course they fucking would." And I was like, that is very relatable. Like, just being that upfront about like, there go my parents, like.
So here's one thing I have to say about the be gay, do crime thing is like, didn't someone specifically coin that? And I wonder if that was at all, I don't know. I'm just curious about that because I remember that was on like some merch a while ago. But again, it could just be one of those things. But
I mean, as somebody in the queer community who uses that term, I don't know of anybody that specifically said it's theirs and you can't use it. It's used pretty generically, but there are probably fandoms that are like, this works great for us or the couple we like or whatever. But I don't think it's like only for one thing. That'd be really weird to me.
No, yeah, I'm just wondering because I've seen it like on merch and stuff. But yeah, it could be from any could be from any fandom, honestly, where it originated. Yeah, so here, okay, I got another bone to pick with this because, Kurt was looking forward to having a dance with Wanda because he was just so happy she was there. And he was just like, oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. Like, and, now, like, here's the thing. He's been like working on his, his relationship with Wanda over the past 10 years. And it's like, or 20 years or something. And it's like, he's gone now from, hey, the cute blue guy who like is always around the X mansion is so nice to me. And now he's like the guy whose mom's staged a wedding to rob me. I mean, like, you just invited him into your family and you're just cucking him immediately.
I mean, listen, they would absolutely do that to him. Absolutely. Especially after they like got all lovey-dovey with him and were just like, yeah, we're family. Oh yeah, I remember you. See, they have to do the exact opposite now. They're like, we've been too nice. We've done too much mushy gushy. We gotta go back to being fucking bitches for a bit. They just have to. It has to balance. But this is gonna be a great story for Kurt and Wanda to talk about in the future. It's going to be great.
I hope so. He's gonna have to show up with some flowers and be like, sorry, my mom, like with a card that says, sorry, my mom's tried to rob you.
So easy. He can do that like whenever the fuck he wants. That's easy. Yeah. He's the king of charm.
Because let's be fair, like, if you keep standing in the way of like him getting with somebody, he's just gonna go back to Amanda, and we don't need that guy. So,
you know what? That should be what we tell everybody that writes Kurt now. It's like, look, you have to give him a really solid, good love interest that's long term, because if you don't, it's just back to Amanda. And do we want that? If you say yes, you need to keep that in your fanfic. That's fine, but keep it in your fucking fanfic, please. Not in current canon. It's been too long. And I don't want it. Thank you.
So, I mean, we've already kind of gone over the whole issue, but I mean, we don't have to go through everything. Essentially, Kurt is just so excited to be in the family now, and he's like, me and Mystique are something blue, and it's just like, okay, yeah, that's hilarious. And
I really loved the little family moments, even though they were a little bit more cheesy than I would have liked, because even though it's a happy occasion, I feel like there's still. There were some punchy lines, mostly of Destiny and Rogue, which I think was interesting. I think we think on it now. I think we got a little more time with just Destiny and Rogue, other than Destiny and Mystique. And I think that's interesting because I think that speaks to like the past relationship they had. Because I mean, in reality, Destiny was more of a like. A parent that tried to be like a confidant, at least like a parent that actually wanted to give you advice and try to listen in their own way. I guess Mystique didn't really seem to be like that in past canon pages, at least to my knowledge. So that was kind of cool to see that callback to them having that stronger bond, because Kurt and Destiny don't have that at all. And even though Kurt and Mystique have known their family for a long time, they don't have that either, because Mystique's just chosen to be disengaged essentially. So that was really nice to see. I think their dialogue worked better for me because they did have that slight bickering back and forth that worked. I think they've got to figure out how to write Kurt.
I agree.
With the parents, because I know he's I know he's lovable and cheesy, but not that cheesy and lovable at this point. The family's not like that. It doesn't completely work. But
Yeah, it feels like they've glossed over a lot of trauma needed to be discussed. And
Mhm.
like I feel like we deserved to get more of a moment with Destiny and Kurt that's like, more about his his very fair anger about the whole situation, and
Mhm.
Mystique's anger about the situation. Like, if everything just felt very hand waved. And I feel like this is kind of what happens when we're kind of in between eras, right? Because Krakoa is over now and we're going to be going into the next era coming up this fall. So it's like everybody's like scrounging around to tie up all these loose ends. But I got to be honest, like the Destiny Mystique Nightcrawler thing is not a loose end that I think needed to be tied up immediately. I think
Mhm.
we could have taken it into the next era. But who knows? Maybe Gail Simone is like, I don't want to deal with this bullshit. And we know for a fact she's writing Rogue and Kurt. So it's like, let's get to let's get it over with before I have to deal with it. So who knows?
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think it needed to. I actually think it shouldn't have been, but I think they did it because again, they definitely timed this issue to come out around Pride Month.
Yeah.
Which is cool, but again, it this is why I don't like things to be one shots unless you're telling a complete story. Because stuff like this, when you make a one shot, you rush it. You don't have the room or the space to get into the intricacies and further explore things. This is the point of the story. The point of the story is to have a cute little one off with Mystique and Destiny, who have become even more popular than ever in comics. They're a very beloved couple. And Marvel has allowed them to be an outwardly gay couple, and so they're clearly capitalizing on it. That's what's happening, editorial wise. They're 1,000% capitalizing on the popularity, which is fine in terms of it's cool to get more content with them and stuff. But this is why I'm not a big fan of like Pride Month issues, or this issue's only coming out because it's Black History Month or whatever. Not because we don't want not because the representation is bad, God no, but because sometimes the stories that are for these one-off one shots as representation, um they just, I don't know, they just don't always hit. And that could just be also partly because that's how anthologies work, but they always go the anthology route, and it's like, give people like even a limited series to tell these stories more, what I mean, like
Yeah.
flush them out and let them get more into the intricacies of whatever story they're telling, especially if it is personal to them. Like, oh my gosh, you have a queer writer writing a queer story. Great, let them go more into it. You don't have to necessarily give them an ongoing if that's not what the story calls for. But a lot of these stories deserve more than a one shot, and this definitely felt like a let's just get this cute one shot out. And again, I'm not complaining in terms of I did enjoy the one shot still. But yeah, Mystique, yeah, the whole dark home family stuff. Simone's got to be playing with that in the Uncanny
Yeah.
X-Men for
I'm
sure.
sure. I'm sure she is. Um, the other thing too, and I like this. This is kind of touch on something that you were mentioning. Is I felt like in the past when they have these kind of like Pride Month issues, they do the same thing where they have several different stories. But I kind of felt like because all the stories were intertwined with Mystique and Destiny's wedding, it almost felt like a disservice to the other characters in the stories. Because, like again,
Yeah.
I just didn't. I didn't care about Rachel and Betsy and having to do with Mystique and Destiny's wedding because they're just there's no reason for them to go. There's literally no reason for them to go ever in a million years. I mean, it's like you're walking into the place where like both their ex-boyfriends are going to be, and that's just going to be awkward in and of itself. So like again, I felt like it would have been I would have loved if we had the Mystique and Destiny story and then other stories about queer mutants and or queer characters and their relationships. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like there was a slight disservice to those characters because it was all intertwined. And again, I just can't believe that everyone wants to go to the terrorist wedding. I'm sorry. I just can't.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a really good point. Especially with the stories being in between like the main story of Mystique and Destiny thing. Because you're right. Like, if you're trying to get me to buy this issue because I'm invested in Mystique and Destiny as a couple, and you are trying to capitalize on that, great. But I'm here for them at this point. So like I'm not super duper big on them, but I think they're cute. Like, I like Rachel and Elizabeth as a couple. Like, I have the issue where they got together and stuff, but But yeah, like when I got to that part in the story, I was just like, but I want to read more about. I want to read more Mystique and Destiny and Kurt and Rogue and what they're doing. Like, I don't really care about this other stuff. So yeah, I think you're right. I think the writers and editors probably thought they had a balance there. Like, oh look, we're putting stories within a story because they I've seen other forms of media like TV shows and movies where they do that and it works really well. But yeah, I agree. It didn't completely work well for me here because yeah, I would have just been like, just give me Mystique and Destiny, like, and then like other stories, like give Rachel and Betsy a story in like another Pride issue, like Pride anthologies are where you do stuff like that, or like just anthologies in general, whatever it's for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or like just do the story. It doesn't have to, like, if you missed Pride Month, it doesn't mean you can't tell it in July. Like you just do the story.
You know what? That's fantastic. I completely agree. Like, why do you have to squeeze it all in Pride Month? Because that's why everybody buys it. You know what? If you actually treated every month like Pride Month, imagine how much money you'd make off us queer bitches. So damn much.
It's funny because I want to agree with you, but there was an episode of Sesame Street where Elmo wished it was Christmas every day, and it didn't turn out to be that great. So like.
I mean, that's a valid point, but you do extra special things during Pride, like you tell, like, you do different stories or you celebrate a bit more, but that doesn't mean you don't tell queer stories. It's, what I mean? Like, but yeah, I mean, I still had a great time with it. I was still nicely surprised by it. My least favorite part was probably the Wolverine story, not because it was inherently bad, but because, yeah, I just didn't care. Like, again, why is Logan going to have big feelings about getting Mystique a present? Why would he even get her one? He sure as shit would not.
What did he end up? What did he give her? He gave her a gun, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm like, why would Logan give her? No, he would, if anything, he'd get a box for her, put his middle finger in it. She'd open the box and he'd flip her off with like his fucking claw or something. Like, what the hell? It definitely felt like they stretched some sides of certain characters to kind of try to fit the vibe they were doing with the wedding special.
Yeah, and it's like also like buying her a gun feels like enabling. It's
it does.
She's a terrorist. It's like buying Jeffrey Dahmer a pressure cooker. It's just like, oh my god, no, we're not enabling this.
Like, of course she's just gonna go shoot whoever she wants in the head now, Logan, and you're gonna act so fucking shocked. I'm gonna be like, dude, what the hell? That's like they gave you adamantium and you said, why would you give this to me? I'm gonna kill you now. And then you killed someone. Like,
exactly. Shit. I can imagine like Kurt being there when they opened it and being like, fucking Logan, oh my god. Like his response to that is the same response a parent has to like a really noisy toy being given to their kid for Christmas. And it's like, oh fuck, this is gonna make my life so much worse. Thank you so much, Logan, for the gift. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. I definitely think overall this is just, it's intended to be a very fun issue. Turn your brain off, have some fun if you can. Trying to overanalyze it too much and put too much into canon beyond like, they were renewing their vows and it went chaotic and yay, because like otherwise, yeah, you're just gonna be picking out things like Lisa and I are like, this doesn't work and this doesn't work.
Well, here's my next question for you. Like, again, both my siblings have gotten married, so I've seen, how that works. And like it's expensive to plan a wedding. So like How much did they spend on this wedding that was fake so they could rob Wanda when they could have like, I don't know, like waited for her to go to the movies.
Just wait for her to go to the movies.
You wait for her to go to the movies, she's going to be away for, 2 hours. Like, make sure she's free tickets to Oppenheimer. She'll be gone for 4 hours.
We just need like X-Men The Sims version.
Yeah, we need to correct some of this because, it's just sloppy. It just feels sloppy and expensive.
Yeah, I mean, either way, they probably robbed a bank for the money and blah-de-da-de-da, and I don't know. It was just supposed to be fun and chaotic, but I do still think it's weird that they had so many heroes involved in it and not as many villains. I'm like, if anything, there should be both, or there should be like all villains and then like Kurt and Rogue are like the only two good guys there. Like, what the fuck?
So here's the thing. I'm going to counter that and say that there were no villains there because they didn't need the villains. Like, the whole reason the Avengers were there was because they were trying to like get the Avengers like away from, you know, like Wanda's store and everything, and make sure that they were all occupied. So when they, you know, robbed Wanda's store, the Avengers weren't ready to like go, you know? So, I mean, honestly, that should have been their first thing when they walked in and like Sinister wasn't even there. And it's just like, oh, that bitch will never not come to a party. Come on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got a cape he wears to every wedding, and it's white because he's a piece of shit like that.
Right.
But yeah, like, yeah, they should have looked around and been like, oh, wow, there's not a single villain. It's all heroes. Okay, this is definitely sus.
I think you should rewrite the wedding special and like write a fanfic of it so that we can see the way that it should have gone according to Lisa.
Well, I'll tell you right now, in lieu of couples counseling, Emma Frost would be doing family counseling, and it would be the four of them all sitting together and like hashing it out. And Kurt being like, you're not my mom. And Mystique being like, yeah, well, technically I'm kind of your dad. Okay, I get it.
That would be funny. Listen, I think though, you know what? That's a whole issue of itself, at least. You could probably do multiple issues, but if you stretch it out, editorial probably won't let it happen, but you could write it. But of just like the Darkholm family, including Gambit. Gambit counts now because they're married, so that's how it works. If Kurt wanted to get married, she'll be there, but they're just bickering and they're going through all their trauma. That's what. But
you know what the problem is that in Emma's office where they have the meeting, there's like a couch, and then there's two chairs. So Emma sits in one, and then there's 3 seats on the couch. So that's like Rogue and like Destiny and Nightcrawler on the couch. And then there's another seat that Mystique will sit in, and then they have to grab like it. All they have left is like a tiny little baby chair that Gambit has to sit in the corner on.
Oh, Destiny would just make him stand. She won't even give him anything. She'd just be like, stand, motherfucker.
She'd be like, you sit in the waiting room, and like, you know, we'll call you when we need you. How about? And then that's when he joins Apocalypse. It's not because he dies.
Oh
it's not
my
because
God.
he's angry. It's because he's just like, I gotta get out of this family.
That's too much. That's too much. No, I think they should have like a therapy issue or like limited series. You could definitely do that with how much. Oh yeah, no, and then Graydon Creed shows up issue 2 out of left field. That fucker shows up, barges in on the therapy session, drags Gambit, and like, hey, I saw this guy like going to talk to Apocalypse. I figured I should bring him back to you. What?
Graydon Creed comes in and he's like, you guys left me in the fucking car. I've been here all day. I've been waiting. And you left the windows up and it's 90 degrees.
And then Mystique's just like, oops. And that's all she says.
Mystique's like, I can't believe you're not a mutant because I have tried to leave you in the car so many times and you survived every fucking time.
Yeah, that family. Oh my God. Yeah, see, that's what we need. I don't need some overly cheesy issue. I want them to. I want all the bickering. I want all of them processing trauma. I want it all out.
Agreed. I want it all. I want it all.
Right.
Well, thank you guys again for joining us for another fabulous issue or episode of Simply Amazing. Boren, where can they find you on the webs?
At friendly MBHDBI, Twitter, Instagram. I have Threads and Blue Sky and all that crap too, but I really just use Twitter and Instagram, so bother me there.
Yes, and also your show's been coming back, right? You did an episode recently.
We did, yeah. I think it was 2 Fridays ago we did a live. One of our buddies, Glenn, came on the channel for the first time, and it was a ton of fun having him on. If you watch far enough, you'll see him ask me about Supergirl, and then I won't shut up. So that's fun.
Yeah, that's the real issue that we're working on with this girl right here.
That's what Lisa and I talk about in couples therapy. Not any like real issues, just she won't shut the fuck up.
Well, I actually was thinking like maybe we should do a special episode once a month, like where we force each other to consume a piece of media that we like, but we know the other has no interest in. So like maybe you would make me like read a Supergirl comic and I would make you watch an episode of Real Housewives.
Oh man, I'd make you read one of the old Supergirl comics too. Those are painful. They're
terrible. And I know exactly what Real Housewives I'm going to make you watch. It's a 3-part episode called Scary Island from like I think the 3rd season of New York City, and it is one of the most classic up there moments. And my secondary would be the dinner party from hell in Beverly Hills, which is another amazing moment.
Outstanding. Well, maybe if we do a Patreon one day.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. You guys can, give us a couple pennies and we'll talk about bullshit. We'll love it.
I was gonna say, I feel like if I'm gonna have to watch Real Housewives consistently, I need like just a few cents of spare change to be like, okay, at least I got something, and I'm just like falling on the floor. Like,
you are gonna get something. You are gonna get entertained, girl. It is good. It's good shit. Well, if you are enjoying this, why don't you come find us on the Twitter? We are at Simply Amazing Pod. Without the A, it's simply AMZING Pod. You can also find all of our other links at simplyamazingpod.com. We're on Blue Sky. We're on all of it, but we are mostly on Twitter, really. That's where we kind of are doing most stuff. If you want to come, we had Jugs, one of our guys, on last week, and we had
you just said we got Jugs, and I'm like, what the fuck, Lisa? You can't say that here.
I do. I've got Jugs. Trust me, I've got like many different types of Jugs. Let me tell you. But yeah, Jugs was here last week, and we had a really good time talking about all the different ways that Kurt is, or what we should like look for next with him outside of the X-Men. And if you have an idea and you want to come on and talk about Nightcrawler or anything related to Nightcrawler, again, if I can relate it in under 6 degrees, we will talk about it. And so far, what did I do this week? I did Prince, the artist formerly known as Prince, and David Beckham. So those are both topics we can do on the show now. So just let us know and we'll make it happen.
Outstanding. I love it.
That's it. And if you are out there listening and you are feeling your adenoids and being like, what's going on in my neck?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
I know, but it's okay because you're simply amazing.